Over on the left, Bernal, Hoey, and Tenjum. We've seen them win in the last round to get here. Their last opponents, Rose, Riegle, and Colegrove. A lot of it, to me, I think is going to hinge on this legacy match. Bernal versus Rose.
Yeah, that's going to be the one that's going to be the closest.
Bernal needs to get that one. I don't think their team... I don't think his teammates carried him last round. I don't think they're both going to be able to do it again.
Yeah, it's certainly possible that you see 2 upsets on deck lists, but as the thing about these team tournaments, when you have great players, we're down to the finals, all of these players have definitely demonstrated their chops. So you start looking at the deck list. If everyone's going to play well, 2 upsets, pretty unlikely relative to just 1.
And we started Matt on the play, but he's on a 6-card hand. Starts on Serum Visions. Does have a turn 2 Bernal. Got to watch out for something, though, like Searing Blaze in this matchup.
Even Lightning Bolt's not great for Hoey. But yeah, Searing Blaze is the nightmare scenario.
Right. Top and bottom off Serum Visions over to Xander's side. Fetchland, no 1-mana spell, just a pass. If there is a 1-mana spell, it's Lightning Bolt. You do see that Eidolon on the Great Revel in the opener. It's possible Xander kept the hand just based on that.
And Hoey rocking 1 main deck Lightning Bolt.
Is it in his hand?
He has drawn it.
That's rude. He's going to just bolt the Eidolon.
I mean,
sure.
That's good. Unclear that he can combo from there, but that's a great starting point. He doesn't just lose on the spot.
Right. Right. Normally when they resolve an Eidolon game 1, you sigh really hard and like, Manamorphose Grape Shot.
I will take 4.
Yeah, please. I hope I have life points left at the end of this.
Don't kill me.
Lava Spike drawn for Xander. Maybe want to see that a turn earlier, but here's the Eidolon. See, Matthew Hoey could have left up red to bolt it. He didn't want to shock just to do that. Draws a Shivan Reef. Land and a pass. Can bolt on end step. That way Xander takes some extra damage.
Yep.
Goblin Guide the pickup.
When we get into combat, you're probably using the bolt to save the damage.
Xander drawn all his 1-drops after he wanted to see them, but they'll still play here. Here's Goblin Guide.
Pretty inconsequential for Xander to get shocked off the Eidolon.
Yeah. And a swing with both. Top card will be shown. Reveals. Steam Vents. That's going to go into Hoey's hand.
That's an extra card, though. It's not one that does much in the way of comboing.
No, Lightning Bolt, though, will take care of the Eidolon. Hoey down to 18, and then it'll be to 16. But he's got an extra card. Or wait.
Ooh.
So let's talk about being punished here. Okay?
No.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Boros Charm. That's indestructible. Let's go to game 2.
Oh, my. Maybe we should have main phased that.
Maybe we should have.
Okay.
And it's also just like, if Xander has a second Eidolon, he's not going to not cast it. I mean, I kind of see what Hoey's doing, but
Boros Charm has other modes.
This is not great. This is not great.
Searing Blaze with landfall. No, he just picks them up. All right. Hey, talk to me. Hey, guys, I messed one up. Don't worry about it. I mean, and even without, this is going to be a really hard match to win in game 1. So we see Xander Riegle on burn take the first one there. Eidolon does stick around.
Yikes.
Whew. Well, we'll get ready for a second game. Check out the sideboards and maybe some ways that Matthew can adapt. We'll be back in just a minute.
Right.
So looking at sideboards, that's the legacy match. There we go. Matthew Hoey is going to have to, first of all, answer Eidolon of the Great Revel. We look at some of his options.
Yeah.
He's got 2 more lightning bolts to bring him up to 3. Those are the best ones.
A dismember, which you just don't want.
I don't want to pass that. Pyromancer Ascension, Giga Drowse, White Boy, Shattering Spree, Empty the Warrens, Pieces of the Puzzle, Anger of the Gods. I mean, there are some things we could talk about here, but I don't really want to go slow. I don't want Pieces of the Puzzle. I really want to kill that Eidolon.
In terms of the way that the game plays out, there's something that suggests this is an empty matchup, but the issue is you probably just lose before you can actually win with the goblins. So you probably don't want to reach for those. You definitely want the lightning bolts, fight over the Eidolon. You could even go as far as to bring in the wipe away to try to get that.
Sure.
Though mostly I just like the bolts. Your other stuff is pretty whatever. You can bring in the Anger of the Gods. It's really slow. It's a sorcery speed answer to, have Eidolon that turn. You might just lose on the following turn, even if you cast that. So that one's not great.
So on those burn side, it's a decent matchup. I'm interested to see how many cards he wants to board in, like Grafdigger's Cage or Rest in Peace.
I'll tell you a card he does want to bring in. 2-core Firewalker.
Oh, yeah.
Gain a life every time you cast a red spell in your Grape Shot deck.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So I can tell you the math on that. You're going to have to Grape Shot. You're going to have to Grape Shot for a lot to get through that.
I can tell you that it would be a high number.
And by that, that's, just really big. Bigger than whatever you just said.
More even.
Yeah. You have to storm to 20 with just blue spells.
Well, multiple Grape Shots is something, but
yeah,
it's not pretty.
Well, Joe Bernal, we said that was the must-win match, takes game 1 over Eric Rose, so even things up at 1 apiece as we start our second game here. Monastery Swift here from Eric Rose will swing in for 1.
Coming in off Stomping Ground, so that means there won't be a turn 2 Firewalker, but we're still alive for turn 2 Eidolon.
Let's check on Goblin Electromancer, see if we might have a Searing Blaze, something like that.
One way or the other, something to get this off the table.
Yeah, you don't want to let him untap with it.
You want a Blaze, you settle for a Bolt.
Yeah, second Swift Spear was picked up by Xander this turn, so second Swift Spear plus Bolt is just fine.
Looks like there's at least a Helix in the hand.
Yeah, that unfortunate that one takes the whole turn.
Yeah, you got to do it, though.
Yeah, don't let him untap. That's how Storm kills you on turn 3. Oh, he has Eidolon as well.
Okay, maybe you don't got to do it. I mean, if you play Eidolon and Hoey has Bolt combo hand, that's very bad. I think you kind of just want to go for the Helix here.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. This is one of those decisions that I would think when you practice burn a lot, this is a decision that you end up just knowing the correct answer to.
Right. One of these is just, in terms of game theory, going to be correct.
Yeah, one of these. Yeah, one wins more than the other.
Yes. You don't even look at the odds of certain things happening. It's one loses the game on the spot.
Yeah.
One allows you to keep playing in the overwhelming majority of situations.
So Lightning Helix and a swing for 2. Last game 1 finishes Andrew Tenjum up a game on Bobby Colegrove. So Matthew Hoey, he's down, but might be able to get carried. We go over to turn 3 for the burn player. Right now, just Hoey, land, and pass. He has Gifts Ungiven in hand.
Good mix of rituals to go with it as well.
Xander's in a shock. Looks like for a Monastery Swift Spear. Swings both. Is it just for 2? It is, and follows up with Eidolon of the Great Revel. Okay, that's the card.
Yeah.
What, if anything, does Hoey have?
He can ritual gifts in response. The thing about Gifts Ungiven is that it never gives you exactly what you want.
I think he can find 3 cards that answer this, if maybe not.
The question is, if you're using gifts to find 3 cards to answer the Eidolon, can you still even combo?
Good question.
Just pick up your hand, Matt. Just look at all of them.
All right, Pyretic Ritual.
Yeah, we're going to see Gifts Ungiven here.
Gifts Ungiven, all right. Yeah, one wants to do that before the Eidolon. Eidolon is still on the stack.
Yeah, it looks like he's looking for answers to the Eidolon. I mean, he can't win through that.
Right.
Yeah, Lightning Bolt is coming to the front. You might see something as ugly as Grape Shot. It is interesting. Actually, I think this is, Ritual's Lightning Bolt, Past in Flames. You want to do the math because you can Ritual into Past in Flames, and then if the Lightning Bolt is put in the graveyard, you can flash that back if you have enough Rituals, enough mana going into it. Without a mana creature, it's pretty clearly, I think, not going to be enough. Certainly to win the game.
See, he gets Desperate Ritual, Pyretic Ritual, Past in Flames, Lightning Bolt. Well, you don't give him the Bolt. That's a recipe for losing on the untap.
You're kind of doing the same thing, Ritual versus Past in Flames. One more mana in the hand versus one more mana to flashback versus casting from the hand. Once you decide where the Lightning Bolt goes, the rest of it is not terribly important. Putting this Desperate Ritual in the graveyard can be worth something because that one has Splice. But even still, Matt needs to answer the Eidolon and combo very quickly. He's at 13, that's some life. He needs to cast some spells into the Eidolon on the following turn. There's still 2 Swift Spears beating down. Xander with access to 3 more cards. Shouldn't take him too long to close from here, and he might just have it next turn.
Team is trying to figure this one out. You see right now consulting with Eric Rose. And he will put the Desperate Ritual and the Lightning Bolt in the graveyard. And that makes sense. You have to bin the Lightning Bolt, and then you bin the better of the 2 rituals.
Yep. Yeah, put that Splicer in the graveyard. And we'll see what Hoey has.
Yeah. Hoey side does have an Electromancer, but he's still comboing through a Eidolon.
Yeah, he's also...
He has a lot of mana, Ryan.
He has a lot of mana coming off of rituals.
I think what's happening here is he's counting how many times he can shock himself.
Right.
Electromancer, Ritual, Manamorphose, Past in Flames. I think he has it.
Yeah, he can withstand 6 triggers.
All right, so one of them, Eidolon, or Goblin.
Oh.
Yeah, Hoey has this.
Only 5 because he has to use a Shivan Reef, but yeah, he's casting fewer spells than that into the Eidolon.
2, Pyretic Ritual goes to, it should be 10, now down to 8, right? He had to use that Shivan Reef?
Right, yes.
Desperate Ritual, splicing Desperate Ritual.
Just had 2 left over.
Yeah. Still shock on that, right? Still shock, so that should put him down to 6. Past in Flames. That one's not going to take any damage.
Nope, and that gets that Lightning Bolt back online.
Is a trigger missed, or who's he at? He's at 8. Lightning Bolt, given flashback, that'll shoot down the Eidolon. And with all this mana in the graveyard, Hoey should be doing just fine.
Yep.
Spell 6, lots of red. 7. Now he needs a way to make blue mana.
He has Manamorphose.
Okay. 8,
yeah,
9.
he didn't cast it before going into this, but he does have access to it.
He has 1 zillion red mana right now.
Yeah, the red mana count's slightly off screen, but it's a very high number.
Well, it's a lot.
Yes.
Manamorphose. That'll make 2 blue.
Currently 11.
Yeah, it's at 11.
100.
Pretty close.
Flashes back gifts ungiven with 1 of the blue. And no matter where you can put the Grape Shot where you will, he can flash back that Past in Flames.
Yes.
There we go. Another gifts. It'd be a gifts, a Grape Shot, a Lightning Bolt. That would do it.
Yep.
The one in the graveyard already has flashback too.
Big fan of any gifts ungiven pile that features another gifts ungiven.
Yeah. Those are the nice ones.
I had a draft deck one time that had 2 gifts. That was pretty out of control. A little bit better in Modern than it was in Draft. And if you don't watch much Storm, once you have Past in Flames, Gifts Ungiven, you will just be able to Storm for enough. Your rituals just give you a ton of mana. Past in Flames plus Gifts Ungiven, you just get to keep gifts, flashback the gifts. Hoey still has 9 red mana floating, plenty of mana to do all of this stuff. Yeah, Remand plus Grape Shot means you have access to 2 Grape Shots, and Xander's seen enough.
And so Matthew Hoey evens things up at 1 game apiece. So now he joins his teammates in picking up a win, knocking on the door. 2 more games will win them the trophies.
Yep, well navigated there in a rough matchup.
All right, Xander Riegle back on the play for game number 3. That one's got to hurt a bit. You see, just killing a turn 2 mana creature and making an Eidolon, still not enough, showing why Storm is such a strong deck.
Right.
We'll be back with game number 3, putting Xander back on the play in just a minute. Back here in Modern, Storm and Burn sizing up opening 7s. Mulligan on Xander Riegle's side. Looks like Hoey's going to keep.
Currently, Bernal, Hoey, Tenjum just 2 game wins away from the trophy.
If Hoey can get this match, I mean, both his teammates are currently up 1-0.
Right, that would be huge.
Rose and Colegrove would have to rally off 4 consecutive game wins.
And game 2 there, Hoey navigated his way out of one of the tougher situations. Was able to gifts into a Past in Flames to lightning bolt away an Eidolon of the Great Revel. Very problematic card for the deck. The matchup not as bad as humans, because it's just Eidolon. It's not like Thalia plus Meddling Mage. Lower frequency of the stuff that really holds you. But even the lightning bolts to check your mana creatures are a real problem. And Xander on a mulligan here.
A lot of the way we were seeing these games play out, I don't think that the mulligan will hurt him as much as it can. in Burn. Generally, Burn doesn't like mulliganing. It, you know, Lao spikes get worse the fewer you have. But both the game he won and the game we lost, Xander ended with extra cards.
Right. Yeah, and the games where you have Eidolon, that's just worth so many cards.
Yeah, he's on 5 for this game. But if one of those 5 is Eidolon, we're still playing.
Yes. If it's not from 5, though.
Yeah, scry to the top.
It'll be real tough.
And Inspiring Vantage, turn 1 here from Riegle. Start off with Goblin Guide. This is a burn spell that can get in for a lot more than 3 damage. Manamorphose is on top. And Hoey takes 2, draws Manamorphose for the turn. Casts Sleight of Hand.
Unfortunate that it's Sleight and not Serum Visions. Kind of fun to play Serum Visions against Goblin Guide. You can float a land.
I got concerned here, Ryan. One of the cards in Xander's hand isn't a burn spell. It's one of those problems when you sideboard with burn. He has a Graph Digger's Cage. Great card in the matchup, and on 5 cards, you just hate to see something that doesn't deal damage.
Yeah.
It will deal 1. It will trigger Prowess.
Yeah, Swift Spear coming down here.
All right, fair enough. Here's 4 damage. And these can continue to deal damage. We get another Goblin Guide trigger, another Manamorphose possible for Hoey.
I mean, the cage blocks any Past in Flames kill.
Hoey down to 14. 1 card left in Xander's hand. There's some worry here with those 2 Manamorphoses, and you see a Grape Shot in hand that Hoey could just Ritual, Manamorphose, Morphose, Grape Shot, kill both your guys. Cool.
Yeah, a little Plague Wind action.
Yeah.
In a lot of the games against Burn, that's really not going to play. When your opponent's mulligan to 5 and cast a Graph Digger's Cage, that buys you a lot of time.
I don't mind it as much.
I would assume that Hoey has the Wipe Away in. That would give him an out theoretically down the line to the cage if he needs to use the graveyard.
Second land and a pass for Hoey. Go back over to Xander. It's got him at 14. 3 damage on the table. 1 more for every spell he plays thanks to that prowess.
And not going to be a lot of options available from here. Pretty much, yeah, it comes down to shoving and casting the cards you do. I want to say there's a Rift Bolt, and that one forces you to make a decision now.
It's Rift Bolt and Boros Charm. Or one of them is Boros Charm. We'll see. He's going to go for an attack, it looks. Swings both. Top card for Hoey, Pyretic Ritual. Hoey is getting a lot of mana. He's gotten Manamorphoses the last 2 turns. And, yeah, suspends Rift Bolt. Boros Charm in hand. So, has Hoey to 11. Actually, Xander, for that 5-card hand, is a good collection of damage. Goblin Guide has gotten in for 6. That's great.
This is lethal next turn. You have 3 as base power, 4 off Prowess, 3 more Rift Bolt. That's 7. Boros Charm. That's lethal.
Hoey, I believe, has a Remand. It might be a little off for a turn. But
yeah. And also, just with the information Hoey has, a Lightning Bolt will be lethal because of the Prowess trigger.
Yeah, and there is still this play where Hoey Plague wins. You know, play some rituals.
He's kind of forced on that.
Yeah, Manamorphose, he'll start the turn, Storm 1.
And with the redraws off Manamorphose, theoretically he could draw into an actual win, but makes sense to start there and just has to go for a Grape Shot at least.
Red-blue, makes another red-blue, second spell Manamorphose, draws. He's hoping to hide a mana creature. Finds another Grape Shot. That's not terrible.
It's fine.
Sleight of hand Grape Shot, just sweep. Could work. He has red-blue floating. Still, he'll spend the blue to cast Sleight of Hand. Spell number 3. Top 2. Looks like we have a Bernal and a Lightning Bolt. They're both good.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hate to see Bernal the turn after he's played all your Manamorphoses.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It's going to take the Bernal.
Yeah, and he has the battlefield covered currently. He's going to be able to Grape Shot through all this stuff, and he can even Bernal and then still Grape Shot this turn.
Grape Shot for 4. Actually,
you don't want a Bernal though because of that Rift Bolt. But yeah, he did use the blue mana already. Yeah.
Rift Bolt sends Matt down to 8. There is a Boros Charm in Xander's hand. If it's, you know, a nice draw of another Boros Charm, and we might be cooking. Back to Matthew. Starts on Bernal. That's good. The Boros Charm that's in Xander's hand doesn't answer, but he just plays Steam Vents and passes. Boros Charm down to 4. Remand. And Remand with Bernal in play is a very nice Remand.
Yeah, get to draw, then you get to loot.
If this, I actually want to mention something here on Xander's side. If that's the play you wanted to make, you maybe want to do that with Bernal on the stack.
Yeah, you fade the looting.
I mean, you can't cast Remand.
Yeah, I mean, he'll be able to remand the next thing you try to cast, but
Xander Lightning Bolts down the Bernal. Boros Charm in hand. He's got, looks like another Bolt in hand as well. 7 damage. Hoey, tap land. Is he passing? Yeah, as a Gifts Ungiven, that's not bad. Passes.
Yeah, the gifts is diminished by the Grafdigger's Cage.
Xander's has a tough decision now, right? He has to decide whether he wants to send that bolt upstairs or hold it for a possible mana creature. I understand the want to hold it for a mana creature, but on 5 cards, 2 lands, I just don't think you can play a control game. He's going to try, though.
He has to use all his mana next turn on the Boros Charm anyway. I like the waiting approach. It's probably going upstairs. You're certainly right there. But using the mana this turn just doesn't matter.
Draws Lava Spike.
Yeah. I mean, you just hope to get through this turn.
Gifts Ungiven, End Step from Hoey.
And you get the Boros Charm on Hoey's End Step, assuming the game goes that long, and you untap and go for lethal. No real reason to respond to gifts just because your stuff has to resolve over 2 turns. If you commit game actions in response, you also inform the gifts a little bit.
You should let him resolve the gifts and then say, while you're still tapped, and then do the Boros Charm if you want to do it here at all.
Yeah.
Yep.
You want to see what the gifts gets. You don't want to show Matt what you have
You don't want Hoey to know that you're going to be tapped out.
Yeah, definitely that too. And leaving up the Lightning Bolt here could be worth some equity.
If you want to just leave up the Lightning Bolt, maybe you use the Lava Spike here then. But at that point, you're telling Hoey your whole hand. Not great. And you say, oh, he's just trying to buy more time. A Remand pushed to the front?
You don't have cards that are identical to that is the issue. So if the Remand is good, I suppose what you do by putting the Remand in the pile, you make it more likely that you get something you really do want.
Okay. Yeah, your opponent is stuck on 2 lands. Remand is probably a whole turn. It's the closest thing you have to a life gain spell.
Yep. Though the way it's lined up now, Xander can go for the Boros Charm with Hoey still tapped out on this turn. And then if Xander draws a land, he can still kill through a Remand because he has Lava Spike Lightning Bolt. He would need the land to do it, but anyway. If he's concerned about the other stuff, giving the Remand is not the worst thing in the world.
See some mana creatures. Not entirely sure what he wants. He has to combo through a Grafdigger's Cage.
Yeah.
We know that.
Would be surprised to not see both Electromancer and Bernal in this split. Though there are only 2 Electromancers in the deck. He's close to locking in on something here. Okay, yeah, so it's 2 mana creatures, Remand, and Manamorphose. Mana creatures are essential to a combo turn, and then it's just the 2 other best cards in the deck. Yeah, so this pile makes a lot of sense. I think that Xander really wants to put both the mana creatures in the graveyard and then Boros Charm on this turn. Because like I was saying, if he just draws a land on the following turn, he just wins to the Remand on that turn. He just has to, the worst case scenario, obviously, is he just loses on this turn. And Lightning Bolting on the combo turn, the mana creature, that's not great for you.
So he gives Matthew both mana creatures, which makes sense. One isn't really a play you want to make.
Depending how many rituals Hoey has, though, having both mana creatures means that Xander can't bolt him off of them.
Sure.
He has 5 lands already.
Yeah, and especially because with how the timing on Bolt works, you usually get an extra mana back, even when your mana creature dies. That first spell is cheaper.
Right. Bolt also contributes to the storm. Bad draw for Hoey.
Of course, for Hoey, he's going to draw another mana creature, and the 3 is pretty out. And by starting with Serum Visions, this feels like he's not confident that he can win this turn. Draws a Ritual, 2 lands. I don't know that he wants either of those.
Definitely doesn't want Spirebluff Canal.
Yeah, entering tapped is poor. Yeah, I'll pass on both.
From 8 against 3 cards, strong argument to just try to get something going here. It's tough to go off to the cage, I will say that much. If you can deter some fire to a mana creature, though, that is a win. It's not going upstairs. You just lose to 3 lightning bolts / lava spikes effects. So strong argument just for playing either Brawl or Electromancer, casting a ritual, and just hoping that a lightning bolt hits that and not your face.
So here, Hoey's going to lead off on Brawl.
At some point, yeah. And there's Bernal there.
All right, Bernal. With Bernal on the stack, it's going to be Boros Charm from Xander. Puts Matthew to 4. Remembering how that Remand worked last time, that'll...
And he still just has
that was
Lightning Bolt
end
Lava
step.
Spike.
That was end step.
Yeah, yeah. Hoey didn't go for the combo, and
okay, so now he has Hoey to 4.
yeah, didn't beat the Lightning Bolt on the Bernal at all. And we'll see if Xander goes for it. Once your Boros Charm is good, it looks like you're pretty well green lit to just go for lethal.
that Hoey has a Remand.
Yeah, we saw one just go to the graveyard off the gifts. That's not in his hand.
Hoey looking for something to try to piece together a win here, but it's really going to be hard with the Cajun play. He needed to find some sort of way to break it.
Mm-hmm.
And Xander maybe has one on the multi-5.
Yeah, as far as I know, if he just goes for it here, it's lethal.
Right.
It's a high tension situation.
Yeah, but I mean his spells do. Lava Spike does one thing, and this is the thing. Here's 3. Hoey to 1.
Does that resolve?
Bolt. Does it work? Hoey's got gifts, ritual. I
mean, you can ritual for gifts, but you're not going to find anything. You also use your blue mana.
Yeah, he doesn't have it. Xander Riegle taking game 3, the multi-5 he gets there over Matthew Hoey, and that's a match win for his team. So Xander Riegle, his tournament is done, wins that one. Now he looks to teammates Bobby Colegrove and Eric Rose. One of them needs to get a comeback.
Yep. For Andrew Tenjum, Joe Bernal, they're both looking to win one more game. For either Eric Rose or Bobby Colegrove, it's going to take 2.
All right, so we start to look at it's all Grixis now, Ryan. We go over to Legacy. Eric Rose playing Grixis Delver, mirrors against Joe Bernal.
No more fitting place to end a tournament than the Grixis mirror.
Bobby didn't bring red cards to the Grixis mirror, but everybody else got the memo. And we go Eric Rose trying to force a 3rd game. Right now attacking with True Name Nemesis and a Elemental token and Wastelanding away. We might get one.
I think he has successfully forced that game.
Well, Delver in play. Now, hold on. The race is still real. Eric at 7, Joe at 10. That Delver can flip. Both players are playing off the top of their deck. Swings to put Joe to 6. Eric's ahead in the race, but it's not a lock.
Now, something to be mindful of, we see there's a volcanic island on the top of Joe's graveyard. The question is whether or not another one has already been wastelanded. These are 2 volcanic island decks, which can make your lightning bolts very bad when you go into the late game.
All right, we need to actually correct. That was the 2nd attack of Pyromancer and True Name Nemesis, so less likely that this race is going to happen. Joe dropped to 2 on the swing.
Yeah, the odds are already long from here. Drawing extremely slim. There's a sideboard Marsh Casualties.
Okay, I mean that would fit the bill.
Yep.
It would flip the Delver too.
Yeah. Basically has to be that though.
Now, is there a 3rd black source Joe can just fetch up here? How many does he have if this Wasteland hits one of his Cs?
So you play 3 Cs.
Okay.
And then you have your tropical island and 2 volcanics. That's it for mana producing lands. Then a lot of games you're relying on Deathrite Shaman to produce those colors of mana.
If he has to top deck that casualties. C was wastelanded. Joe drawing 2 Marsh Casualties. Trigger, Delver. Did he do it? Brainstorm, transform. It's possible he has.
Well,
he has to draw.
No.
Wait.
Because he has Underground Sea in the graveyard. He has to tap Underground Sea to cast Brainstorm. There's only one more black source in the deck.
What if he fetches for a Volcanic, casts the Brainstorm off the Volcanic, and draws into exactly Sea and Marsh casualties? It doesn't matter. It didn't happen.
Yeah, once you cast it off the Underground Sea, then you're off on casualties.
Is there another way he can stay alive? Maybe a one-shot life gain? Some way to keep the true name off for a turn?
Eric apparently is at 5, so I think he just wanted to Brainstorm into Lightning Bolt and go for lethal.
That's a better out.
Yeah.
He can still put cards back, crack a fetch land, ponder, maybe hit that bolt. It's getting real dicey.
Well, he'll have to ponder with that land. He won't have another. Yeah, you can only draw one card, and he doesn't have the land or the bolt.
Right.
I think we're going to 3 here.
There's not. Yeah, you can't draw 2 cards off ponder. There's no way for that one to work. He passes. He'll crack a fetch, and then I mean, I think he's just going to confirm that he has no outs. He can crack a fetch and ponder. I don't know what he'd find.
Yeah. I don't think you're going to get your opponent to just not attack with their true name nemesis.
No, they don't usually miss that one. We'll go to 1. Give it a chance. Maybe there's something he missed.
I guess no. I was thinking like maybe he wants to draw a Surgical and look at the deck, but he can't even cast that because he doesn't have life to cast that.
Top 3 days, Tropical Island Delver. That's okay. We'll shuffle. We'll draw.
Joe just likes playing Magic, I guess.
I love resolving ponders.
Yeah, let me shuffle again.
All right, that one didn't win. Picks up the cards, so we're going to head to game 3 here. And now they're counting on Joe. He loses that game here.
Yeah, we see Tenjum shuffling the deck. Are they going to 3 on the standard play?
Yeah, you see Bobby Colegrove moving around there, and that's because Andrew Tenjum just picked up game number 2. That's a match win in standard for their team, which means this upcoming game 3 of Joe Bernal and Eric Rose is going to decide it.
Grixis Delver Mirror for all the marbles.
Players are going to consult with their teammates. It's a full 3-on-3 for this last game. They're going to look at the deck lists and re-sideboard. We'll be back in just a minute. So last game here in Cincinnati is going to be, I think pretty fittingly for the weekend, a Grixis Mirror. Taking place in Legacy.
Yes, we've seen Grixis Mirrors in Legacy and Standard a lot this weekend.
Yeah, the most popular decks in both their respective formats.
The deck wildly unplayable in Modern currently. The Grixis Shadow actually still figures to be pretty good.
Yeah, most hyper decks in Modern this weekend. Jund and Red-Green Scapeshift. Bloodbraid Elf really showing some muscle in day 2.
Mm-hmm. Very powerful Magic card, that Bloodbraid Elf.
So game 3 will put Bernal on the play. See some interesting approaches here on the teams. You see on Eric Rose's side, it's a full 3 minds playing. On the other side, like, no, hey, Joe, you do your thing. Let us know how it goes.
Yeah.
Cataxian Pro from Eric Wheelseeker. First look at Joe's hand. as he makes a turn 1 Delver. It's Gurmag, Angler, Wasteland, Lightning Bolt, Ponder, Underground Sea. This is pretty good for the setup. Now, I know you said you don't particularly like Delvers and Delver Mirrors.
You can't board them out.
Right.
You'd rather be starting on Deathrite Shaman, but it's a solid start. You force some action.
Second probe, Eric go to 16. Would you even rather start on Ponder?
You kind of want to Ponder once you know what's going on.
Sure.
I would rather have a turn 1 Delver than a turn 1 Ponder.
Delver on Eric's side as well.
Off of the bad land, Tropical Island.
Will Joe's Delver flip? No, it does not. Shows Deathrite Shaman. It's a card he'll be happy to have.
Not mad about that pickup.
Yeah. A lot of mana options here. You can waste away your opponent's land.
And that's actually the strength of leading on Tropical Island. You see Joe goes for the Wasteland, but
and then bolts to play around days.
Well, no, it's just that's a win for Eric because that land's not good.
Yeah.
He still has all of his volcanic islands and underground seas.
Hits for 1, Eric to 15.
Now we'll find out if he has additional lands. Hands that only have Tropical Island generally are actually mulligans because the land is so bad. It's like having a wastelandable basic island in your deck, and basic island like doesn't even clear it.
Right, but in this situation, because he'd seen the wasteland, it makes sense that he led on his worst one.
Yes.
You know, it's not this is my, this was my only land.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little surprised that you saw Joe wasteland over casting Deathrite Shaman. I think that getting the Shaman on the battlefield is a considerably better position.
Yeah, now his land in play not capable of that volcanic island.
Yeah, the underground sea in his hand would have done it though.
Here is Brainstorm.
This is an aggressive Brainstorm. Land for turn, Brainstorm.
Yeah. What do you think he's looking for?
It looked like that was his only land.
Okay. More lands, makes sense.
Yeah.
He is going to be down on mana. He's already going second, so he just starts out down. There's going to be a Deathrite Shaman on Joe's side.
Yes.
This Brainstorm was important.
Yeah, you want to get access to red mana, certainly. Get all your colors online. You want to have answers to, there's already the Delver on the battlefield. When the Shaman shows up, you want to have an answer to that one as well. Post sideboard, we're going to have access to more answers to Delver, though. Rose's list, there's no red. Okay, there's 2 Pyroblast, never mind. Yeah, Delver is a lot easier to answer than Deathrite Shaman. Joe transforms to a Brainstorm. He's been hanging out with a Gurmag Angler in hand. He's applying a lot of pressure. And deploys the Shaman. Follows up with the Ponder. And honestly, Joe would... It's great for Joe if that gets dazed.
It does. Eric picks up the land to daze it. I don't know that he goes... That's a lot of mana to go down, so Insectile Aberration swings in to put Eric to 12.
Yeah, Eric's hand. I don't know what's going on here, but it can't be very functional if these are the plays.
Well, he's got some lightning bolts. He can start to manage these threats. Fetch to 11.
Well, Joe's leftover being Gurmag Angler. If you bolt one of these creatures, you might just be facing down a 5/5 next turn. If Rose is long on days, theoretically the Gurmag can be caught by that.
Pyroblast will hit the Insectile Aberration. You line it up that way so that Lightning Bolt could later on hit the Deathrite Shaman.
Yep. Yeah, this is all fine.
But yeah, now there is enough mana for Joe to make that Gurmag Angler. Now, he may want to wait. Right now, it still could be dazed.
Yeah. Picked up another Delver as well. That's a pretty easy play this turn. You need to leave up Shaman activation on top of that.
Delver, Brainstorm, Angler. Yeah, Joe's actually thinking about the Gurmag Angler.
With how aggressively that daze hit the Ponder, I'm really apprehensive about playing Gurmag into daze.
You think there's another one?
Now, Joe's been playing the entire match. He knows more about Eric Rose's play patterns than I do.
Yeah.
If you think that that's just, how Eric plays.
Having Gurmag getting dazed is one of the ways you could lose from here.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's light on cards in hand.
Though if it resolves, it's one of the ways you almost certainly win from here.
Gurmag's one of the best cards in the mirror.
One of the big finishers, but unlike True Name Nemesis, you can cast it for 1.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe's going to go, looks like the Delver play.
Definitely agree with this line. Yeah, if you read Rose for not having the days, great. You get the Gurmag Angler if you're right. But this play is a lot safer. And leftovers for Joe. He just has Brainstorm plus that Angler. We're seeing a Deathrite Shaman activation here. Can't think of a compelling reason to time that on the upkeep.
All right, back over to Eric now at 9, trying to regain the board. Has another land here. It's Underground Sea. Can make Deathrite Shaman, but needs to start removing these creatures. Lightning Bolt, which one does he want to point it at? It's going to actually Forked Bolt. 1 and 1. He'll take care of the Delver. Prioritizing that one over the Deathrite Shaman, and then he'll make his own Deathrite.
Yeah, Deathrite Shamans tend to check each other.
Yep. Back over to Joe. Running lower on threats. Still has that Angler.
And now he has 5 cards in his graveyard, so it's really safe to go for that.
Yeah, Brainstorm, Gurmag, Angler.
Looks like the card picked up was Daze.
Okay. Unclear how good Daze still is. Of course, he has a Brainstorm, so every card can be great if you work at it.
Yeah, the ideal scenario is that Eric Rose has left Force of Will in, has it, and Force of Will is the Gurmag Angler, so you can Daze that. Force of Will, pretty poor in the matchup. Don't expect too many copies post-sideboard. Joe actually going to start on Brainstorm. I mean, that's net neutral on casting the Angler, so you just get to exile that card as well. These pickups not ideal. He found Tropical Island. There's no way to shuffle, so he's stuck with the Daze kind of at the end of this. Did find a red Elemental Blast. Covers a lot of the powerful cards in the mirror.
Just showing over to his teammates, making sure that he has a setup. Mentioned, yeah, the Blast, the Daze, the Gurmag Angler. All pretty relevant here. And now that's the finish he's looking for. There's the 5/5, so can delve away the entire graveyard for Gurmag Angler. Playing it not into a Daze anymore. He has Deathrite and a Daze of his own to fight back.
Yep.
But no damage this turn. Eric will attempt to Daze.
Joe will pay 1.
Pay.
Yikes. Does he must just have another Daze.
Yeah.
And this is kind of what I was saying about that Daze on the Ponder. It definitely looked like Rose had another Daze, and this one is just a misstep. Really unfortunate that happens in a team event. You know, somebody on the team should have caught.
Like, hey, he can pay.
Yeah.
Deathrite will X out of the land. But however, with Joe's Deathrite down, that does open the window for something like True Name Nemesis on Eric's side if he had that as a follow-up. Or this young Pyromancer is not terrible, and he can now play it Daze proof. So hold on a second. Can we say that this was a bait?
It's possible. The Pyromancer does check the Angler.
Yeah. Joe's going to Daze back on the Pyromancer. So a similar style player, he's going to Daze right into 1 mana. And Eric says, okay, I'll pay. But, oh, I do like this. It means that unless he has a free spell, if you want to stop the Angler damage here, you need to block it with Pyromancer.
And Eric's at 9.
Yeah. That was a really neat line by Joe.
Yeah.
Swings Angler. Now Eric has decided, do you want to go to 4... I mean, 2, let's be real, is that's Deathrite Shaman. Do you want to go to that life total, or do you want to chump away your Pyromancer?
Right. Then you'll likely see Joe just main phase the Deathrite Shaman activation. That's just going to check Underground Sea Shaman until Joe Shaman's off the battlefield. Now, Joe knows what he's drawing here. He found that Red Elemental Blast. He did Brainstorm on the previous turn, so he's stuck with those cards, and the mixture was not very powerful as follow-up. He's going to have some problems with the young Pyromancer.
Goes to 4, and then to 2 will pass. Joe just has to find those last points of damage. They're not clear where they come from immediately. The Deathrite Shaman can be kept in check. Well, actually, Joe can overload his end step on the Deathrite Shaman,
actually,
right?
great pickup for Eric Rose. Wasteland for Underground Sea.
Okay, well, that's great. How about Bolt for Deathrite?
Okay.
Makes an elemental token. He has Joe stalled.
And now you might look at the
two.
red mana.
Yeah.
Though Joe immediately likely does not have access to a lightning bolt. You know he's already brainstormed. He would know about that if it was coming. But from 2, it's really dicey to leave that volcanic island around.
Yeah, and then his teammates are all pointing at it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, he's got red mana. We need to do something about that. And they will volcanic island into the yard. Last card in Joe's hand was not gonna play well here. Go back over to Bernal. He has Gurmag Angler, but right now it's going to be chump blocked. He has that red blast. Nothing red on Eric's side. Elemental token blocks. Tropical Island will cast what a draw. Deathrite Shaman.
Yikes.
Okay, that can do 2 damage pretty quickly.
Eric does just have the option to check that with his own Shaman.
Right. He has a brainstorm, and remember, Joe can't cast the blast in his hand.
Right, not until he untacks with Deathrite Shaman, and he's also playing the Shaman War there. But you can't actually use Deathrite Shaman to check Deathrite Shaman for a full turn cycle.
Right, you end step use it. I can deny that activation, but then if you untap and go again, I'll take 2.
Yeah, Eric really needs to brainstorm into something that deals with that Shaman.
You know, he could also, if he can wasteland away the Underground Sea, could buy himself some time. There's no black mana anymore.
Yeah.
So here's Brainstorm, makes an elemental token. Needs to find, I think, light removal spell or wasteland.
Yep. Yeah, the Shaman could still cast it if it was a black removal spell.
It's another. He finds another Shaman. In a pinch, that could work.
Having 2 Shamans is good against the Shaman, but you do need another Underground Sea to activate on 2 sorceries.
Yeah, so then it's going to be broken up by 1 removal spell, 1 wasteland. It's the kind of thing that might buy you a turn, but Joe would top deck out of.
Yeah, well, the thing about brainstorming versus pondering is you can't ask for more. Those are the cards that were on top of your deck.
Yeah. Finds an angler of his own. Great card, but not relevant here. He's too far back.
Yeah, this game is all about his life total.
Right. If he can stabilize it too, the damage will come. Checking just how much Deathrite fuel is left in the graveyards, but he can't use his Deathrite for anything. It has to play defense.
If there were a much smaller number of instants and sorceries in the graveyard, say exactly 1.
Ryan, he's tapped. Hold on. What's happening? Okay, Lightning Bolt was found on the Brainstorm.
That's excellent.
Looks like we have a question here.
You're not really sure what's going on. Deathrite Shaman has been around for a little bit.
The question is on the elemental token, perhaps?
I don't know if it's pertaining to the Pyromancer trigger. Either way, that Lightning Bolt cleaning up the Shaman is excellent.
Apparently, Eric, when he exiled the card, declared that he was making black mana.
Uh-oh.
And Joe says, okay, well, no. You can't cast Lightning Bolt off black mana.
I mean, this game's over then.
And that's it. And the Joe says, yeah, you did say black mana.
Yikes.
And a big misstep. And that's going to do it. Joe Bernal, Matthew Hoey, and Andrew Tenjum. They're going to take it down. That is it. Grixis Delver, Grixis Energy, Andrew and Joe carry through.
Yeah. They haven't shown up for a minute, but they came out in force this weekend. Yeah, the old guard takes it down.
Yeah, a bit of a